Hey, what is up, guys? Pittsburgh White Schwartz back with an Overlord deck tech for you. Except this time, it's not just one deck tech. I know how you guys have been missing out since we've only been doing one every 2 weeks. So you're getting your money's worth this time, guys. We're doing multiple deck techs for Overlord. We've done a lot of brewing with the set. I know I have. I brewed up a couple pretty cool ideas. I think they're really good. And Carmen and Brian have also brewed up a couple interesting decks too. So we're gonna try a different approach for deck techs this week and kind of go over everything in a little bit less detail, but cover a lot more ground with it, and maybe give you some spicy, cool ideas you might not have seen elsewhere. So, anything you guys want to say before we hop into it?
I think the only thing I want to say is that you're definitely not going to see the quote unquote Japanese meta deck in any four of these. I think we're all kind of on the same page with that one. Unfortunately, already a little bit power crept, especially with FGO coming. Our FGO set review is already up. If you guys want to check that out, we kind of dig into why that's sort of like a better version of that style of deck. But like Overlord still has a lot of cool stuff, and I think we've tried to highlight that in these builds. So
for sure,
that's all I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm. So let's break down the first deck. And I think this deck, which I came up with, is called the Chungus Among Us. Or just blue yellow Overlord. Features one of those really strong cards that might keep the set relevant in English, even with FGO coming. And that's the 2-1 Big Chungus event. He has a fucking name, this hamster, but I don't know what it is. He's just a big hamster, so he's Big Chungus.
Chomusuke.
It's Japanese for Chungus, right?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure
Chungus.
Big
But the event
Chungus.
does what the event does. It's like the event from what's the set called? Telavru.
Yeah, Wormhole.
We don't have it in English. It's Wormhole, and it's for level 2 event. For 1 stock, you get to return 2 of your opponent's characters to their hand. Really powerful event archetype that we really don't have in English until now. And with a lot of standby decks becoming more prevalent in the metagame, that's just such an affordable cost to just deny 2 of your opponent's lanes, pop 2 of their things back to their hand for 1 stock, and like that's it. You get to then direct attack for 2 in 2 of their lanes, and then that's their whole next turn probably replaying those early plays, if they even still meet the conditions to play them. If they have an early play that's like 2 or less climax in a waiting room, pop them back to the hand, hit them for damage, and then, whoops, they have too many climaxes now, can't play it. So it can just be it's a really high tempo card, and that's why I have 4 copies of it in the deck. It's an event card, you don't have really great access to it, but 4 copies, you should be able to get 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the deck is pretty much a Blue Roses core, or which is the blue characters in the set, and also counts for the yellow characters we run as well. The Chungus event requires you to have a Raven Black trait character, and the only characters in the set with that trait are the Momon, so it's Ainz when he's in his human knight form, Nabe, who's like the lady ninja, and Chungus. That's why we have the small Chungus backup there. 1500 small Chungus backup. Reason I'm running that instead of the costless 2K backup is because of the if we just need in a pinch need another Raven Black character, we can play him from hand and then use the bounce event. But notably, he's searchable off the card next to it, Blue Rose Lackeus, which allows you on death to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, Rize style, and take a Raven Black or blue character to your hand. And the Ainz combo sits pretty big on defense, upwards of like 8K, 9K, and you want to be able to dig for a backup to defend it. And then you just curve out into the Blue Rose's Evil Eye finisher, which is probably the strongest conventional finisher that Overlord has access to. It's basically just a powered down version of Kurumi, Data Live.
Yep, on play heal, and then you choose either shuffle 3 back or burn for the number of climaxes in your opponent's grave, I believe.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
either overburns and removes a climax, opening up the swing for 3, or burns for a smaller amount for ditch 2 cards.
Yeah, if
Oh.
your opponent's out a lot of climaxes, it's a nice finisher because you can just shuffle back 3 clean cards and hit them for guaranteed damage. If they're out a small number of climaxes, you get a nice controlled amount of burn. But if they're kind of like halfway through their deck, it can be a little bit awkward. So you do what you can in those games, and you probably want to go try to get into your off finisher, which is the big level 3 Momon.
The fact that it's a healer too means that it doesn't eat up extra slots in your deck. You can kind of wait a turn, do what you can do. Another big payoff card here for playing blue-yellow is the 2/1 level assist that has the similar card to the upcoming Konosuba back row, that when you tap it, you can give one of your characters on reverse, you bottom deck that card. Really good against Slime, removes their early plays, especially because Nabe will swing over or tie with like any back row support or climax or whatever into Shizu. So you can remove those cards. They won't have a chance to encore.
I'd also think this is a pretty good budget build for the set too. If you're looking for a more budget build of Overlord, because the green-red, quote unquote meta deck can be kind of expensive because you need a lot of like box topper promos and tons of double rares. The only real expensive card in blue-yellow is the level 0 Nabe.
Yeah.
Which is the 3K coin flipper. But if you're really on a tight budget, you could find some other plussing level 0 to do the job for you. And if you wanted to, you could switch the Shalltear Brainstormer out for the blue Brainstormer. Which the reason I'm not running the blue Brainstormer is because the Blue Roses and Raven Black archetype has a lot of like top checking and looking at the top few cards of your deck, adding to hand effects. Overlord doesn't really have too many good salvage effects outside of this Brainstormer. So I made a deck building concession and put the Shalltears in. But if you're trying to keep it more on a budget, very easy replacement. Take the Shalltear Brainstorms out for the blue Brainstormer, which is about $20 cheaper per copy.
Yeah, for sure.
So a very good budget deck, I think. And I think the Big Chungus event is probably like one of the strongest things Overlord has access to. And going forward, depending how the meta shapes up, is going to be a big reason why you'd want to bring it to a tournament.
The Blue Roses Tia here, this 0 level 3K. It is on play, you pay 1, you spawn a copy of it from your deck, and then on reverse, it goes to the bottom of your deck. That's a good card to help you sandbag in the mid game, especially if you've resolved Chungus event, because it's just a pay 1/+1, and then you have direct lanes, so you're not overswinging either. It's a good way to just like generate an extra card, keep your hand big. Helps conserve hand. I know we talked about that as we were brewing. It's just a useful card later, which is why we're at 4 copies, because if ones go to stock or grave, we have to be able to pull another one out of our deck.
You always have one in deck, yeah, for sure.
Really nice synergy with the Chungus event, too, because if you bounce 2 of their lanes back to hand, and then play one of the Tias and search another Tia, there's your 2 open lanes right there.
You swing for 2s, yeah, pretty good.
And they're 0s, so you're not giving your opponent like a weird side target. It's not like a level 1 or something. If it was a level 1, it'd probably be a lot worse. But the nice little 3K, so.
Yeah.
And you have good ways to actually, especially in the mid game with this kind of deck where you're kind of just waiting, since you don't have like early play healers, you're not really extending your level 2. When you get extra turns at level 2 because of cancels, any card that helps you like sandbag a little better, like waste time a little better, is just a very good card to have in your deck. Generate some extra resources for more Evil Eyes. Notably, the Drop Searcher grabs every card in the deck except for Lackeus. That is the only card that she cannot grab, so you have very good access to everying else.
That's like a $20 box topper too. So
yeah,
if you're trying to keep it on a budget,
You dodge that one.
Just put another Brainstorm in or something. Add a 4th Brainstormer. You're good to go.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
but I think that's all we need to really say about this deck. We have a bunch to get through here. And I'd rather you do yours next, Carmen, so I can
I think
take a break from talking and
Yeah, not a problem.
Bit of water here.
I think the only thing I want to say about this one before we move on is I think we're all kind of on the same page that if Overlord does show up and does do anything, it's probably going to be a blue-yellow deck and not a red-green deck, because the red-green deck is kind of already too old a little bit. It's a little too slow. Doesn't have a real place right now, even in English. So if you see Overlord, you might have a much higher chance of seeing this kind of build than you probably think. So you should familiarize yourself with the cards. If you're someone who's trying to stay on top of everything with the meta, don't discount it. Yeah, we can move on. All right.
Yeah, you want to do yours, Carmen?
Yeah, I think I move things around. Or no, Brian. Or oh yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Whoops. Yeah, we'll go to mine next. So this is a bit of a weird one. So I said you wouldn't see the meta deck. Well, it's not technically the meta deck. The big problem with the meta deck, in my opinion, is that you don't have anything meaningful to do at level 3 because the blow up your board is very situational, which is the better option versus the weird pseudo restander thing. And unless you're like trying to like ping out with direct lanes with like big swings after the fact for like weirdly large amounts of damage. So instead, we're going to try to jam everything into the same deck. You can see the 0 lineup is pretty typical for the meta build. You're running the bounce back to hand. You're running Ricky to make sure you don't get level locked. We're making the concession where we're only going to run Nabe because we need to jam other things in the deck. Nabe gives us 2 chances to plus rather than 1 with the Mill Runner, so we prefer that one because we try to keep that extra card on board to make sure our 2/1 Eins doesn't make us expend too much hand because it's not really doing anything other than bringing 1 card out. It's only a 1 card plus, really. So we have to make sure that we can set that up without too much issue. So we're opting for just the Nabe. Notably, we're running 2 Climax Swappers, and that's because we have a 4-3-1 Climax split with 4 standby, 3 pants, and 1 door. With the pants, obviously, we are running the Evil Eye. I know this seems a little greedy. We are only running 6 blue, but what you're going to do is basically level the first Evil Eye that you can, and you're going to call it a day. Because unlike the decks that are very all in on Evil Eye, they are planning to try field Evil Eye to try to like finish out the games, the big burnout finisher. You have a lot more sustain in a deck like this. You have 9 healers, and then 2 other level 3s. So you have ways to just sort of like sit on your deck a little bit at the end game, maybe grind out an extra turn, go for a kill after the fact. And because Evil Eye is sort of a card where you kind of strike when you have the best opportunity to do so, whether they're at the bottom of their deck or if they're at the top with a few climaxes out, maybe 1 or 2, it has good like sort of gameplay synergy with what you're trying to do. Other than that, pretty standard tap counter. We get to put in the 2/1, which is really good against the meta right now. Like I said, you get to remove Slime and upcoming Konosuba's hand on court early plays. Then at level 1, we're super light because we're basically just going to try to put out 2/1 Eins and Cocutus every game, and if we don't do that, well, we're having a pretty bad game. So our only other auxiliary level 1 is the Shalltear Bomb, which we are maxing out at 4 because it is on color. We got a pretty greedy deck, but I think something like this, you can maybe try to fix a little bit more blue if you want. Maybe put in like the blue rose or something if you want to get super greedy. The blue rose Tia. To pull those out of deck for additional blue fix. You could try that, but I think the Nabe is just too good, and in my experience, 6 to 7 blue is more than enough to play a level 2 or level 3. So that was kind of like my idea with this kind of deck.
Yeah, it definitely it seems very close to, like, not too far off from the, red-green meta build. That's just so everyone's in the know, that red-green build being like basically the 2/1 Eins into Cocutus at level 2 that you see here. But I think they just run all 4 copies of the gate.
Yeah, it's just this, but you run gates instead. Yeah,
it's more of a grindy like.
They run like
deck that has a bit more utility, but this has like an actual finisher.
They like max out on Albedo early play. They like run the clock kicker. They run a 1/1 level X, whereas we're running the 2/1 level X. So you have access to a lot of the same things. You're just like adding a little bit of color hell to play a more impactful finisher. And like weirdly, you get to run even more healers than the meta deck, quote unquote. So it gives you, I think, something. It gives you a lot for like adding that third color that might be a little rough. In those games where you're just kind of waiting, playing the Evil Eye, and you're going for game or something like that, you're 3-4 and just fucking clock a blue, whatever, go for it.
Yeah, and you should be able to know like enough in advance which finisher you want to go for, right? Like the Eins blow up your entire field is super good, but in certain matchups only. A lot of times
it's
it's
very
useless.
certain matchups and situations.
And Evil Eye, can kind of be the same way, have trouble killing unless your opponent's at a very specific deck state. So being
Gives
able to
you more
pivot into
dirtle
either one
power.
of those.
Yeah, it gives you a lot more dirtle power.
Yeah, with the 2 climax swappers and the fact that you're running blue gates in your deck means that you probably have pretty decent access to whichever climax combo you're going to go for, especially since you start sculpting for it, in advance, because you should know it by the matchup.
Notably, the Nabe counter is a bit of a flex spot. You can add an additional level 0, add an additional 2-1 for a little bit more blue. Whatever you want to do. I just put that in there because it's an additional counter to help protect Cocytus, putting us at 4 counters, which I think is where you probably want to be for a standby deck like this, like a 4 standby. You don't really need to max out like the 8 standby decks as much, but just give you the options. 4 counters felt pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like the level 1 Shalltear you're running too. It's probably like one of the most solid, just red level 1s you can run if you're not running a climax combo there.
It's just slightly worse Cost Me Bomb, which they continue to print, like slightly worse no condition Cost Me Bombs. I believe
the Shalltear is a TD card too, isn't it?
Yeah, TD card.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you need 2 TDs to play pretty much every deck on this list. So yeah. Make sure you get out there and get those Overlord TDs. We talked about that in our other one. But I think we're ready to move on. I think we'll go with Andy's next, because I went past it.
Yeah, sure. So this is kind of my take on the meta build, the red green sort of, standby out an early Cocytus and kind of just ride that to victory. So I guess kind of a pretty standard, level 0 game. Just you got the nabes, you got the $100 worth of brainstormers and drop searchers. Very cool. The level 0 Shalltear. I don't know if we talked about. I don't think you mentioned that on the last deck, Carmen. But,
no, I did not.
That's like a really important part for the Eins combo, because you can play the Eins level 2 at level 1. He has an early play condition if you have a full field. So you need to have 4 characters on the field. But then so you get your full value off the standby, right? Because you don't want to be overplaying.
Yeah, the Albedo will pop to hand.
You bounce the Albedo, yeah.
Yeah, the Albedo pops to hand and gives extra power or soul or something.
The soul is you have to coin flip for it, unfortunately, which is the worst part of the card. And it's something that I think really does hold Overlord back a bit, because it doesn't push for a lot of damage. You have 1-2 soul lane going into level 1. Like, okay, if you get to level 1 first, it's pretty terrifyingly bad if you get to level 1 second. You have to like get pretty lucky. Like, everything has to go through. You're only expected to deal 5 plus trigger or 4 plus triggers. Can feel pretty bad. Unfortunately, the soul is not guaranteed. A lot of these profiles, when they pop to hand, always give a soul. Unlike the Albedo, where you have to mill for it.
Mm-hmm.
We're Overlord. We do our best.
Yeah.
And yeah. So the meta build, like we were saying before, usually runs like this, Eins standby combo with the Cocytus into just like a bunch of gates and the blow up your field top end. And since the deck already that meta build gets by, very well just running like no real dedicated finisher. So it kind of frees up like some of the utility we can run in the deck. So without deviating from that meta list too much, I kind of decided to add in a different finisher with the Shalltear. And there's a few reasons I chose this. The Ainz Cocutus combo at level 1, your standby combo, that's like can be a really big tempo swing in some games. It can really put you very far ahead very quickly if it goes unanswered. And the Shalltear kind of serves as another chance to get a big tempo swing like that. I guess the combo is you standby out as Shalltear level 3 at level 2. So like ideally you're like low level 2, you standby out the Shalltear, and then if you can make sure that you don't hit level 3, you can then unleash Shalltear's brutal combo the next turn, which is when she deals damage to your opponent, you get to heal 3 cards from your clock. So that's just another massive like tempo swing. Like that's a 6-point swing in damage if you stick the 3 on the attack.
Mm-hmm.
Heal 3, and then you just live forever at level 2, and that just puts you so far ahead that you should have that should just be game set match there. The 1/1 freezing spell counter is in there to help facilitate this game plan, because if they knock you to level 3, your combo's not really going to do anything, because it specifically heals 3 cards from your clock. So if you don't have a clock, then combo doesn't do anything. So ideally, you stand by this out early level 2, you take a few damage on your next turn, and then on your next turn you can, clock yourself if you need to, and then try to get that damage to stick so you can get heal 3, and it's pretty brutal. And the freezing spell is kind of like a compass event from Contai, being able to either mill you into a climax to cancel, or just straight up preventing the damage from the attack. Other than that, you kind of just grind the game out with Cocutus. I mean, that's still your plan A. And at the top end, you have, other than the Shalltear, you have the early play Albedo, which is really strong early play that heals to stock, I believe, on play, and the Albedo off finisher, who burns for 1 on direct attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I still think getting off the Shalltear at level 2 is a bit overzealous, but if there was a way that you were going to do it, probably the best way. At least the compass is helping you stay at 2 a little longer. 4 standby is just so rough for a deck like this.
I guess that's like the big play, though. You know what I mean? Like your big, super good play is when your high roll is when you get that Shalltear off. But you can always just play him at level 3 too.
Yeah,
Because
just
you're
try
still
to
running
sit at level 3.
like with the 4 copies of the freezing spell compass event, and the fact that when you play her from hand, Shalltear, you can pay 1, search another copy from deck to field. So you actually have 2 chances to get the heal 3 effect off. And hey, if you hit both, you can potentially heal your entire clock.
Yeah. Down to 0.
And it's also pretty lean. You can just run that's why we have 2 tap counter in. So you have a chance to do that more often. Unfortunately, another box stopper promo. Gonna run you a bit. But yeah, I think that's about it. The rest of that deck's pretty similar to the last one, so we can move on.
It started off pretty spicy, but I'm really pleased with how it came together at the end. I think it's like definitely a different variation of the normal standby green deck you can run. If you want to try something a little bit different that has the potential to be a bit swingier, its damage output.
Yeah, for sure. If I were buying into Overlord, which I'm not, but I think I'd try to play something a little grindy, or something more along this deck's lines. And I guess you'll see that that worked as the inspiration in my deck too, that I'm going to talk about here.
We can get right into it. There you go, Brian.
All right. So this deck is a pile of cards that I threw together in 15 minutes, but I think the soul is there. The object of this deck is, without playing standby, to compress yourself as much as you possibly can and to just play big things and hopefully win board and plus yourself cross turn, because your level 1 combo is not a hand plussing combo, it's a stock plussing combo. The level 1 combo combos with green stock soul and is on attack, choose a character in waiting room, put it into your stock. So it's the Nico from Love Live Anniversary, except it doesn't get up to 7k on attack because it combos with a stock soul.
It's closer to what is it, Chizuru from Rewrite. It's like that same profile.
Right. So the idea is that you get as many clean cards out of your waiting room as possible before your first refresh. You get back there after you've hopefully lived decently well through level 0 with your the level 0 oversize of choice that I'm running here is the Shalltear there sits at 4k if you have 2 or less stock. After level 0, you will be building crazy amounts of stock with your level 1 combo, so it's basically worthless. But I run 4 of so that you can get through level 0, ideally killing anything that's in your way, oversizes, Goblin Slayer chasers, whatnot. The rest of the level 0 is built around consistency, trying to make sure that you can get into the level 1 combo as often as possible. We have the Ricky, as well as the drop search and the level 0 that lets you look at, I believe it's top 3 cards and take any card, the yellow one.
The yellow what?
The yellow card. Pay 1, put 1 card from hand to waiting room, on play, look at top 3 cards, take any
It's
card.
like the Cosma.
Yeah. So you take any card so it can help you dig for both your level 1 combo as well as the climax that it combos with. The last card at level 0 there is, I believe that's an Nines. Yeah, that's a Nines.
The double bond.
It bonds to both of the events that we're playing. The level 1 event being on play goes to memory. Every turn you put the top card of your deck into your memory. When there are 4 cards in your memory, you discard all cards in your memory and then burn your opponent for 2. So it's a latent free burn 2 that never ever stocks a climax or memories a climax. And
even if it does, hopefully, the rest of your compression game plan helps to minimize that drawback.
Right, exactly. And then the level 3 event that it combos with is a multi-purpose tool that either heals you 2, gives one of your characters 8k cross turn, or burns your opponent for 2, which should not be difficult at all to get off using this deck. Since there is both a bond tool to it at level 0 and your level 1 is generating insane amounts of stock for you.
You can play it like multiple times. You can like play it from hand, bond it back, play it again. Like there's some
that's the spicy little play. You just buy it back with the bonder, because it doesn't go to memory on
It does not. Yeah.
Well, it does go to memory for one of the effects. I think it's for the heal effect. For the heal effect, it does go to memory.
The heal 2 does go to memory. Yeah, but you can. Since this deck is not running a typical finisher, we're running the Shalltear that we talked about in the last deck. The extra burns from this card can definitely come in handy in that line.
Main phase burn is definitely super powerful, and if you can time it right, you can have this the skull burn effect go off. It might go off going into your finisher turn.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it just pings a climax off, it's more than done its job for you.
Mm-hmm. I've done a bit of theory crafting with the 1-0 burn event. If you don't get it off the second you hit level 1, it's probably not worth going for.
I agree.
Kind of just avoid not going for it in those games. But if you do put it in your memory the second you hit level 1, I mean, it's definitely, you're gonna get the effect off it. You're gonna get the burn 2 off it. So yeah, I think people were, sleeping on this card a little bit. The fact that, you can just have a free burn 2 4 turns later.
Yeah, coming at a point in the game where you probably want to burn 2 more than you do at level 1 anyway, I think is decent enough to try out.
Can you?
Yep, and like again, if you don't, oh sorry, Carmen.
Does it does it only hit off face down cards, or does it only puts the face down cards? You can't trick it by putting a second copy in to accelerate it?
No, so you can't play the event if you have memory.
Yeah.
So if you can
I
only
see.
you can't do multiple skulls. You can just do one. So that's probably why Brian's only running the 2 copies because
Right.
Okay.
you only want to see it exactly at level 1.
Right. Yeah, and it does trigger off of only face down cards. So it's I don't think Overlord has any other ways to get face down cards into their memory, so
Yeah, I think
just
that's
gotta
it.
drop it. Just
Oh
drop
man,
the
the Persona 5 matchup, insane.
Oh, broken.
Yeah, broken. Get that free memory.
What's
What
the
one?
1-0 Eins do? This 1-0 skeleton.
He's just a big boy. He gets 500 power for each of your other characters. So he
Yeah,
sits
just a
at
6/5.
65 cross turn. We're running the 2 copies of the 2K backup just to protect our large bodies. And then we transition into the level 3, level 2 early play game plan. Running 3 copies of the Albedo early play. Gets power on your turn. Also running the level 2 Demirage, which gives 2K to level 3 characters in front of it to further power up and protect our Albedo, especially since it is a little bit weak on our turn. So it gets up to 11K with that. Hopefully can protect it further with backups. But more so, the Shalltear finisher, since it can summon a copy of itself on play, sits at 12K with the Demiurge behind it. Since you can summon a copy of it, and then both of them sit at 12K for the low cost of 3 stock, which is a much more defensible line of power than our Albedo, which we are just running for heals.
It definitely seems like it forces your opponent to have to kill you, that turn, because if they don't kill you that turn, you definitely pump power into your Shalltears a bit more than I was in the build I had before. So like, definitely a very real threat of, if they can't finish you off, you can just combo again and maybe just heal yourself completely.
Yeah. The Shalltear finisher is more of an incidental include in this deck. There were not a lot of great level 3 climax combo options in either green or red aside from this card. There's the Eins restander. I guess I could have run the Skeleton Knight restander, which is kind of mediocre. There's the board clear Eins, which doesn't really work well with this deck's game plan. And green has the Neg Soul Albedo level 3, which I am not a fan of.
Yeah, card's not great. I really like that you put the Shizuru combo in this deck, because I wanted to bring that up earlier, too. If you're not a fan of the whole standby thing, but you still want to play Overlord, you can, take the meta deck, or take the all deck, or take this deck, or something like this, and you can just run the Shizuru combo in that slot. You just cut all those level 2s, and you just run that as your stock charging strategy. Probably some extra backups, because you can back up to 8K.
Right.
Back the Shizuru up. So the or I guess that's Ara, whatever. Shizuru, it's a profile. The stock soul combo is perfectly fine. You're just you're conceding a far better trigger to stock soul, which depending on your preference might not be something you want to do.
I love stock soul.
It's great when you play it, and it's bad when you trigger it.
Yeah, you were comparing it to the Love Live combo. This actually would build more stock. You get the stock soul with it too.
That's true.
It builds one
just
more.
kind of go all in on the building the stock, then you can just unleash it at the top end however you want with either the shooting star events or the whatever early plays you want to go into.
The only bad thing about this one compared to other decks that typically play this sort of stock charge is there's no immediate payoff at level 2. The only payoff is the compression.
Right.
Because you can really only play one Albedo because it's a 4 more.
Right.
You could, if you wanted to go, you were saying if you don't like standby but want to play a green-red meta-E build, meta-esque build, you could just play this aura combo at level 1 into just hard playing the 2/2 Cocutuses.
You could. It'd be kind of counterintuitive, but it is an option.
Yeah, I mean, stock acceleration is a thing this set has.
You're just going from an X standby deck to a global soul deck, so your strategy will change a lot. Another option for even this deck is you could just run 4 Blue Rose Tia, 4 Evil Eye, play Pants. That is possible.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, splash into blue is definitely an option here.
Play your field plus of choice in whatever color.
Yeah,
Go
Definitely
from there.
hard to run the red events in because you're probably going to have to get some additional blue in there.
Yeah.
Although I guess you could turn the Demiurge at level 2s into the Blue Rose Assist.
Yeah. That's
Something
possible.
along those lines.
Yeah, I think that's it. 4 decks. Hope you guys enjoyed this different format. A little bit longer than our other ones, but it was 4 decks, and we're only doing.
Actually, I don't think it was. I think it is actually like
about the same.
If you compare it to like the Reze Sulan deck tech, we're probably under that.
Yeah, but just to wrap up, same links we always post. In terms of other upcoming content, things like that, Fake Grand Order is out. We are currently trying to put together Madoka. We have specific guests that we want to bring in for that. So we're going to try to put that together. We have sort of a best of the Mobage set and then the full anime set review. Just because the Mobage set is so old, there are actually like legitimate reprints in the anime set from the Mobage set. No reason to go through the whole thing. So we've cut that down. That'll be a little bit quicker, sort of a one-shot, quote-unquote, set review, and then we will go into the anime one. Same guests are planned for that one. And then we have Frozen Bonds. That one is also prepped. And then, of course, Mom and Adventure Time, after they release, we'll do them. We will not know the cards until they're all done. Small sidebar, we are starting up a monthly tournament series here in Pittsburgh. So we will hopefully have some cool games because we have people coming in from different regions, stuff like that. We will hopefully have some cool match video that we can put up, and we can maybe even bring in those players from out of region to be on match commentary. So that's something that we're looking forward to doing in the future. So keep an eye out for that. Should be pretty exciting. But yeah, I think that's it. You guys have anything else to say?
If you guys like this style of video that we did with the deck text this time, definitely let us know in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought this was a lot of fun to definitely go over, and definitely gives people a bit more of a bit more, out there ideas other than just like the boring ass meta build for Overlord. There's like we covered kind of a lot of different cool stuff here. So
4 different deck building styles, one video. We all have like very different takes on deck building, so cool to see them all in one video. But yeah, I think that's it. Pittsburgh White Sports signing off. We'll see you guys in the next one.